What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unsolicited with Sam and Jordyn. I am Sam. This is Jordyn, and we are back and better than ever. It's always that 1 week where we take off that it just feels like forever, but we are recording this on the 13th. Happy Galentine's Day. It's one thing to spend the day with your girlfriends. It's another thing to record a Super Bowl podcast with your girlfriends. So, how are you doing?
I am doing so amazing, and me and Sam were just getting into it. We really haven't talked about the actual Super Bowl at all. Me and Sam were just relishing in the fact that she got to be in Vegas for Radio Row and hearing all the stories, all the people she was able to get to see, all the people she was able to get to meet. Sam had the most, I don't know how she's here right now. I don't think I would have lived through it.
I'm a shell of a human.
No, and I bet from that, and then also just the travel and the excitement alone. But I'm also so excited to hear what you thought about this Super Bowl, and then a lot of other things to go with it. And yeah, like you already mentioned, every time we take off for a week, it feels like months have passed. So I'm just glad to be seated here with you today. And Sam, also, we're entering one of our favorite times of the year, NFL offseason, baby.
I'm already living for it. We're about, 2 days into the NFL offseason? There's already
Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Yes.
It's Tuesday. I'm looking at my calendar.
Yeah.
I also just thought it was Monday for a second, and I was like, it's not Monday. But I just saw a thing about there's a Kirk Cousins curse where I posted it on my Instagram story, and it's like, if you lose to Kirk Cousins in the regular season, you will not win the Super Bowl. And I'm like, the off-season content that I crave, random curses, insane topics. Like, I adore it. I love it so much.
There's nothing like the NFL offseason where we cling to every headline, every ounce of news. But I think we should jump right into the big game.
The big game. I think it's so funny when we talk about, like, when people have to, like, because for those that don't know, you can't say the Super Bowl in like certain like ads and things like that. So that's why they always call it the big game, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, honestly, slow start. I was like not really feeling it. And also I had just gotten off a plane. I was still like trying to figure out what the hell was going on where I was at. And I was like, I could go to sleep right now and I wouldn't care. Like, and I don't ever feel that way during the Super Bowl. But the end just started getting so good. Freaking overtime. I don't think I've ever watched a Super Bowl in overtime in my lifetime before.
No, I don't remember a Super Bowl going to overtime.
I don't know. I feel like we should fact check that, but
we probably should. Maybe once when I was like really young, but not in the last recent years.
Yeah, not in working years for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, what were your thoughts? Obviously, this was a very troublesome Super Bowl for you to be in. What do you feel anything from this outcome, or like how are you feeling?
Honestly, so you know how distraught I was post-championship weekend when both the Chiefs and the 49ers wanted to go to the Super Bowl. This was the outcome I was absolutely dreading. It couldn't have picked two worse teams. However, in like the 2 weeks that passed from then, like by the time it was Super Bowl Sunday, I was like, okay, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to let everything go. I'm going to enjoy it. Cause like, this is what we really work for. And I was thinking about it in my head, like all my friends, when they're talking about like things they're passionate about and there's a big event, they're like, this is my Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, the Super Bowl is my Super Bowl. So I have to enjoy it. Like, so I was debating about who I was going to bet on. And I actually, and here, I'm going to go on a little side tangent because one thing that I also realized this weekend is now that the Eagles are back to being like an average football team, like the expectations aren't too high, they're not too low. Like it's not like, oh my God, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I'm like, oh my God, I can be an NFL analyst again. So this is actually better for me because back when the Eagles were average was when I initially started my YouTube channel and I was able to talk about every team and just, be. But when the Eagles started getting too good, I was like, oh no, all sense and logical reasoning is out the door. So I got a sense of that back this weekend and it was honestly fun. And I did some like analytical thinking and I was like, going 49ers Chiefs, and I was like, who do I think is going to win this game? And I was like, I honestly think the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is the next Tom Brady, whether we like it or not. And I was like, I feel like the way that it was like, oh, you can't bet against Brady in the Super Bowl. You can't bet against Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So I had a bunch of money on the Chiefs. So I was rooting for that. And yeah, like you mentioned, it was a really slow start to the game offensively, but I was having fun because it was like gritty. I thought it was funny. Like they were both just like fumbling back. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
All of the freaking like fumbles and like recoveries. I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
Right? Because literally going off of this season, the two best football teams from both the NFC and the AFC were in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, I think you can argue Ravens.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, you can argue Ravens.
So it's
exactly, but it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, it's Andy Reid. They're made for this. So, I feel like I'm gonna get canceled for saying that.
Tomorrow, Thursday morning, it's gonna be like cancel Jordyn.
Yeah, Jordyn is over party.
Get it trending. Let's do it.
Yes. All publicity is good publicity. But yeah, no, I felt like they were the two strongest teams in terms of like getting it done. So when it started out that way, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? But no, it ended up being one of the best Super Bowls in a long time.
Yeah. I would love to get your opinion on the storyline going around about the 49ers not knowing the overtime rules, because I think that was very, I granted, it's probably like if you're an avid football watcher, you would know. But like 2 years ago, obviously one of the best NFL games, these cats are sprinting. Can you hear them?
It sounds like they're ripping something.
They're running like full. Oh my God, I can't stand them. They always like to do this during the recording.
The second we start recording.
The second. Anyway, like the Bills-Chiefs game that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was one of the best NFL playoff games I've ever watched in my entire life.
Hands down.
And it changed the overtime rules in the playoffs to have both teams get possession of the ball. How do you, as a player, not know about that rule? Like, or even if you don't want to blame the players and you're going to blame the personnel and the coaches, why did the coaches not like, I don't understand where the disconnect was.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty infuriating because in my mind, I'm like, listen, if me, little old me, sitting on my couch understands the overtime rules and the recent changes, you out there on the field should be aware of the overtime rules and changes. Like, to me, again, that's why I hate the 49ers so much, because I think they're whiny crybabies and there's an excuse for everything. And the second I saw that, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this doesn't make you look good. This doesn't help your case. This is embarrassing. And then you have the Chiefs on the other side who were like, oh yeah, we practiced overtime drills every day in practice. We practiced what would happen if it went into overtime and we got the ball second. Like, they were prepared for every outcome. And that's why at the end of the day, like, Andy Reid is the coach that he is. And it just shows how important coaching and having that veteran experience is.
100%. I mean, like, the Chiefs won that game. I think the 49ers put up a fight, but the Chiefs, like, there was nothing in that was saying like, oh, the Chiefs ran away with it, or oh, like the 49ers should have done this. Like, well, they should have, not given the toss away, but whatever. But at this point, it's like the Chiefs won that game because they were the better football team.
Yep.
Like, and that's just the way that it was. And also, I love the narrative of Travis Kelce not having a good first half and then going into the locker room, something happening, whether he gets a call, a text from Taylor, he like blasts Love Story in his headphones or something, like something changed in the locker room where he was just like, my girlfriend's here, I gotta ball the fuck out. And like, he came out and balled the fuck out. I thought it was hilarious, but we also have to talk about all of these incredible Tavis videos that we're
No,
getting.
we do. We're gonna have a whole Travis and Taylor discussion.
Mhm.
But the other thing I wanted to say about the game itself was going
Yeah.
off of your point, the refs, I was so happy, let them play. Like,
Yes.
because there were a couple, like, and again, minor, but I saw flags, certain holdings on both sides of the ball. But my thing with that is if you're going to not call the first one, like if say there was a holding on the 49ers and they don't call it, then when there's a holding on the Chiefs, you can't call it. And I felt they were very good about that, super consistent.
Mhm.
Because I think it starts with the moment the game starts. I think the ref staff has to be on the same page going into it. And you're either going to let them be a little handsy, let them be a little aggressive, or you're going to call everything and make it fair. Because I think both are fair.
Yeah.
And I think for the Super Bowl, letting them play, obviously, unless it crosses a line, is 100% the way to go. Because also, everyone I've talked to was like, the cadence of the game was just like fun. It had that start slow and then picked up, but also there really weren't that many flags. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't that stop and go. Like it was just play after play after play. And it made a huge difference.
Yeah, I think there was a holding or some sort of call, I think in overtime against the
Mhm.
Chiefs, and I saw Spags on the sideline like looking like what the fuck because
Yeah.
they had been doing that all game and
Yeah.
they did call it in that overtime, but I don't think that changed the course of the game. Like
Yeah.
there were other things that were happening that were a lot more like imperative to the game, but overall, I was just like I was so tired, and then towards the end of the game, I was just like, oh my god, are we about to enter overtime? Oh my god, we're going into overtime. Oh my god, why did the 49ers just take the ball? Why are they doing that?" And then I was like, "Oh my god. Oh my god." And then they get down the field, and I was literally just at that point, just good football.
Yep.
Good football, and I think we got that, especially at the end.
Mhm.
And overall, I know you made some money, I made
Yes.
some money. Michael's mom got the final in her boxes. She won $10,000.
What?
She sent it to me, like, we were not together. She texted me, and because I saw that she had won, and I was like, "Oh my god, you won." And she was like, "Yeah," and then she just sent me 10000, and I went, do you mean $1,000?" And she goes, "No, I mean $10,000." And I was like, literally, Michael and I were both like, none of this, like, it's not affecting us at all. Like, we do not get any of her money. It's her money. But we were like, so we like drove home and we like ran to her and we were like, "You won $10,000."
That is unbelievable.
Right? Like, I was so
And
stoked for her.
And also, I was saying, such a good year for the people who had 5 and 2, because those are two numbers. When you open up, you're all excited about
Right.
Super Bowl squares. You see 5 and 2, and you're like, I'm dead in the water. I
Yeah,
had
you don't
5 and
even think
8.
about it.
I had 5 and 8 for one of mine, and I was like, oh, that one doesn't even count. I'll roll with I had 3 and 6 for another one. That didn't even hit. But I was like, okay, 3 6s, 1 0 7, like all great numbers. 5 and 2. So I love when shit like that happens because I'm like, you were the underdogs and you persevered.
Yeah. I was very, very, very excited for her. And, you know, I won that I had the 0-0 box,
Yes.
so I won first quarter. Nothing crazy, but hey, that's free money
Yes.
that
Free
I got.
money.
I got in my pocket. I know you won money because I was rooting for your bets.
Yes.
Michael and I have to tell you, when you told us that you had Rashi Rice as the first touchdown of the game, I told Michael, I went, we're gonna root for Rashi Rice to score the first touchdown. And literally anytime any player, he didn't know if he was on the Chiefs or the 49ers, anytime any player caught the ball, he was like, Rashi? And I was like, nope. So close. And then he would actually catch the ball, and I was like, there's Rashi. And he was like, Rashi Rice, Rashi Rice.
I thought that was such a lock pick. I don't know why.
Hey,
And
it
it's
went
so
on for so long too.
it
Like
went
we were like sitting at
literally
the edge of our seats.
me and Sam were like, I'm alive, I'm dead. I'm alive, I'm dead. I'm alive, I'm dead. And then I think was it Christian McCaffrey who scored
Mhm.
the first touchdown? I was like,
Yeah.
damn it. But
Damn it,
yeah, no,
Christian McCaffrey.
overall, a very, very fun game, except I won money. I'm up. I had a good night overall, except it would have been a lot nicer with an extra $340 payout because I had 2 parlays that literally the only leg that didn't hit was a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. And for the longest time, it was I needed one more Patrick Mahomes passing touchdown, and then I needed a Kelce touchdown. So for the whole second half, I was like, oh my God, I just need this. And it wasn't happening. I was rooting for it so hard. And then overtime. And I was like, no big deal. Travis Kelce is about to win the Super Bowl and then propose to Taylor Swift immediately. No, I actually, you'll laugh at this. My one friend texted me and she was like, what is actually about to happen right now? Because I think they were going into overtime. And I was like,
Okay.
Here's the deal. The Chiefs are going to get a stop against the 49ers. Patrick Mahomes is going to run down the field, get them close enough, pass to Travis Kelce. They win the Super Bowl. All my bets hit. Lights black out. And then all of a sudden you hear, done, done, done. And I had this whole elaborate thing that all of a sudden Taylor Swift was going to announce Reputation, Taylor's version at the end of the Super Bowl. And my friends were like, what the fuck? Like, I went on in a paragraph and I was like, here's what I honestly think. Like,
here's what's going to happen.
Yes. And they were like, oh, okay, sounds great. Like,
the funniest thing was my best friend Sarah ended up texting me, and so she had the full black fit on, which looked adorable. I loved it. I loved the ponytail, the little braid, so cute. And she had a Wear by Erin Andrews jacket on. And the Chiefs were formed in 1960, so the number on the back of the jacket was 60. And Sarah texted me, and she was like, "What does it mean?" And I was like, well, Reputation is her 6th studio album, but also the Chiefs were founded in 1960. She was like, oh, okay.
But also it was driving me nuts because she came in the all black with the slits in the thighs and the diamonds. And then Travis is wearing a sparkly head to toe black 2-piece with black underneath. And I was like, are y'all trying to kill me? Because it's working.
I literally, when I saw her show up, because obviously we were all sitting there just patiently waiting for her to show up, because I loved seeing her outfits. I think every week she like slayed. Like, even if it was more of like the comfy fit with the beanie and everything, like she always looked so cute. So when she showed up with the slits in the thighs, I was like, first of all, I need those pants. I need those pants. They're so cute.
I need the whole outfit, the top. I need her arms. Jesus Christ.
And then I even, like, my dad was even like, you know, what does it mean? And I was like, well, Blake Lively also has like the super curly hair, which is like the twinkle of debut that will be coming to us at some point. And he's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? That's what that means? Hello. Do you want to come up here? No? Okay.
Kitty!
He just walked away from me.
No.
But yeah, I was and then I was like, she's in all black. Oh my God, the braid. I was like, it's giving all Reputation.
No, literally. And I will confess. So obviously when you're in a relationship and your boyfriend is like, oh, another girl's hot, in any other scenario, you want to kill him. However, I've been trying to convince my boyfriend that Taylor Swift, I'm like, if you're going to call any woman besides me beautiful, it's her. Like, I want you to think she's beautiful. I want you to love her. And she walks out, they show her, we're sitting in the living room and everyone's like, oh, Jordyn, Taylor Swift is there. Yeah. And Brian looks at me and he goes, you know what? He was like, this is like the first time I've looked at her and been like, she's hot. And I was like, oh, we've come so far.
Good job, Brian.
Good job, Brian.
Well done finding another woman attractive.
Thank you. Yeah. And I told this to my mom and my dad. And my dad was like, you're okay with it? And I was like, I encourage this behavior.
I would like for that to be happening.
Yes. I was like, this is appropriate reaction.
That is hilarious. That is so funny.
And now I feel like it's time to fully dive into the depths of Travis and Taylor after the Super Bowl, because holy fuck, there is no way we've been fed like this well. I have zero words for
I'm full.
I'm full. You know what? My life is made. I'm made.
No need for seconds.
No.
I'm fine.
It was literally perfect. 8 and left 0 crumbs.
The AFC Championship was the appetizer.
Yes.
That was like the shrimp cocktail
Mhm.
that you just enjoy. That almost kind of fills you up, like, if you didn't have dinner, you'd be okay,
Mhm.
and then they served us a freaking 8-course meal.
Oh, yes.
First of all, I just saw the mic'd up stuff, and I popped it on my Instagram story, and I said, "Oh my god, I feel like I'm in a Taylor Swift fan fiction right now."
Yep.
Because him holding her, calling her baby. I also heard another clip where he calls her baby girl, and I was
Yep.
like, "Okay, she is a baby girl."
Yeah, she
That is
is
exact
baby girl.
She is baby girl. She and Jacob Elordi are baby girl.
Baby girl.
That is exactly where they need to be.
Yes.
And just him holding him and them kissing and her being like, "I'm so proud of you. That was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that before." And like just stunning. And him telling her thank you for flying
Yes.
halfway across the world
Like,
for me.
he seemed so grateful. And
So grateful.
oh my god, and then also the after party. Oh my god. Sam, can you imagine what
No.
hell we would have raised? No. Can you imagine what hell we would have raised if it was August? We were getting ready for the NFL season, so excited, and someone told us, "Hey, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are going to fall in love. And then at the Super Bowl after party, they're going to sing Love Story and You Belong with Me in a Las Vegas nightclub together."
Taylor Swift fan fiction. That's what I would
Fan
have said to you.
fiction.
Someone wrote that.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Someone wrote that.
I am at, it's just been unbelievable. And they just look so happy. Like,
Literally, yes, they do. I just saw a TikTok that was March of 2023. She played at Allegiant
yes,
Stadium.
talk
And
about it.
one of the surprise songs was Cowboy Like Me, which doesn't connect to it. But the other surprise song was White Horse. And someone clipped it off where she's saying, you know, "I'm find someone someday who might actually treat me well." I just gave myself goosebumps.
Yep.
Just talking about this. I
That
just
was
gave myself goosebumps. And she
also,
sang Invisible String.
I was going to say that was the last time she sang Invisible String.
The last time she sang Invisible. Like, are you
It's
serious?
fucking disgusting. And also Invisible String theory even further. Do you remember the video of Travis Kelce after winning last year's Super Bowl at the after party in the nightclub singing You Belong With Me by himself?
And now he's singing it with her.
And now, not even just singing it with her, up on the DJ stand while she's up in the rafters a little bit, or I don't know what you call them at a Las Vegas nightclub.
Like crawling through the air vents.
Yeah, she's up on her little
Yeah.
princess, whatever, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
and pointing to her, and then pointing to himself. That like, and you could tell on her face, she's like, "Is this awkward that I'm singing my own song like,
Yeah.
to you in front of an entire club?" But she was going with it, and he looked so happy. She looked so happy, and I just can't wait until they get married. And I want to be the God. I want to be the godchild. I want to be their child.
Yeah.
And then I want to be the godparent also of their child.
Yes.
Do you think they would bestow me that honor? Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll marry them too. I'll officiate.
Yes.
Me and Jason. The Jason footage too. I was losing my mind. It was like him and like Taylor like making out, and then they pan over to Jason with the
Nacho Libre.
mask. And he was just like, "I'm raging." And I just need to know where Kylie was at this point in time. Like, she must have gone back to the room and been like, "Jason, behave.
Yep.
Come back later."
That's exactly how their conversation went. And also, again, give Kelce the key to Philadelphia because her dedication.
I
She
agree.
said it. Yes. She said it in the Kelce doc. And obviously, like, I thought she was serious, but like to this extent, I didn't think so. Not that I would ever doubt her, but I figured for Travis, she would at least wear like a Travis something. No, that girl will wear Cincinnati. She will rep their college. She wore red to hint to it, but she will not wear another NFL team's
Respect.
logo. Oh my God.
So much
Queen.
respect.
Queen.
You know, like, I just, again, whatever team it was, Eagles, doesn't matter. I respect somebody for
Yes.
holding on to their NFL team as loyally as Kylie Kelce does.
Yes.
But it was just, I just was just so thrilled. Oh, halftime show.
Halftime show. I fucking loved it.
Okay, same. Why did everyone being so fucking annoying on the internet?
Right? Right. And I feel like every Super Bowl halftime show, I always feel like people hate it more than they love it for some reason. I just feel like people like to be
Everyone has something to
negative.
say.
And also, when you're like, it's so hard because something as large as the Super Bowl, also the Super Bowl was like the most televised or the most watched televised event like
Since the
ever.
moon landing.
Yeah. Like,
Yep.
so when you have that big of a stage, and especially this year when there's like such a large range of age and like demographics, like I feel like they do a good job of rotating to like, we're going to please this group this year. Next year, we'll please this group. Like they do a good job that way, but there's just no way to please an entire
Oh, 100%.
nation.
Yeah, no.
However, I feel like this year was for the 25 to 35 year olds who cherished every second of this performance. I thought he was amazing. I thought he picked great songs. I thought the visuals were awesome, not too overwhelming. He was fucking phenomenal. Like,
dude, Usher looks fantastic.
he looks exactly like I remember him looking when I was 7 listening to my boo on Kids Bop.
He's 45.
That's unreal. Also, did you see him and his long-term girlfriend got married in Vegas after the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yes, I saw so many memes too of it was like his brand new wife watching him as he performed with Alicia Keys because he was like kind of all up in her business, but you could tell it was very performancy. Like he was not like trying to touch her, like he was just.
And she seemed like she was like laughing. And like also they had my boo together from way back when. Like they've probably been friends for so long. But no, Brian actually sent me one of the memes. And it was like, it was them like holding each other. And it was like, this is your girl at work with her coworkers. And Brian was like, we're suddenly fighting. I swear that is not true.
Oh my God. That is hilarious.
With my all-female social media team.
I was like, gonna say.
Excuse me, where?
It's like I literally work with 2 other women that are exactly around the same age as me, and then my boss is just like this man who's happily married with 2 children. Like it's I think the automatic feeder is going off.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds like somebody's farting.
I heard something, but it sounded like something falling.
I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear it? Okay. It's so loud. And it's like
I'm not gonna lie. I just looked over to put my Pepsi back down and looked at my handle of Tito's and gagged a little bit.
You should probably put that away. Oh my word. Oh my God.
I don't need this.
No, you don't.
Ever again, actually.
Overall, halftime show, I thought it was great. And then I was waiting for Yeah, because Yeah is the Usher song every single person on this planet knows.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was too, like, I was talking to my boss who said he didn't know any Usher songs. I said, yes, you do. You know Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played, and then he heard it and he was like, oh yeah, I do know this song.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Yeah. And they brought out Lil Jon. Mm-hmm. He brought out Ludacris. He had will.i.am, which I didn't even know was will.i.am until after the fact, in the mask. Yep. The other guy was Jermaine Dupri, who I was actually not familiar with. I don't think a lot of people. I thought it was CeeLo Green.
I thought so too. And then I saw someone say, I thought it was Ozempic CeeLo Green. And I was like, that's exactly the most accurate description I've ever heard.
I saw it and I went, wow, CeeLo Green lost a lot of weight. Like in the back of my brain.
And then they were he's not as round.
They were like, no, that's not CeeLo Green. And I was like, oh, my bad. Sorry about that. But yeah, the roller skates were phenomenal. Although did you see that Justin Bieber turned it down?
Yes. I was literally getting ready to say that, although I was waiting for Justin Bieber the entire time. But also in my mind, He was there. In my mind, I feel like he turned it down because I feel like he will eventually host the whole thing himself. And I didn't know if him performing in it ever hindered that.
Oh,
But I
maybe.
could see like a full Justin Bieber, especially if he releases like another album in the next couple of years and he has like an Eras at the Super Bowl halftime show. I would die. I would simply die.
If I heard Somebody to Love at the Super Bowl halftime show, I used to like My World 2.0. I
Oh,
still listen to that album to this
yes.
day. It's a phenomenal album.
Incredible.
If I heard that live, if I heard anything from My World or My World 2.0, I kind of fell off a little bit after that. I would be like, "Oh my god, I am entering a like very nostalgic part of my life."
Yes.
But yeah, maybe he does, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That was my thought process. And he's just also starting to get back into performing. So maybe he didn't want something that public.
Maybe.
His like starting to debut back.
You also don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, and not that Justin Bieber needs money, but you normally do it like when you're Usher, when you're at like later on in your career and just need another like boost kind of thing. Or if you're like promoting some new music kind of
yeah.
thing.
Like I think Usher's about to go on a tour now.
Exactly, yeah. And like I know he just did Jingle Ball, so I feel like for someone like him, it's like re-putting his name out there to like promote other things. Justin Bieber, I don't think is one ready to do that yet, and also doesn't really need to. That's why Taylor Swift keeps turning it down. She's like, what do I need to be more famous for?
Yeah. Like she'd probably put on an incredible halftime show,
Yeah.
but also 15 minutes
Yeah.
of Taylor Swift performance, like you're just going to get the hits.
Yeah.
Which in my opinion are perfectly fine songs, but like
They're
I'd
not.
rather hear Illicit Affairs
Yeah.
and, you know, I can't even think of
Imagine
that song right now. That's just the first one that came to me.
imagine Tolerate It during the Super Bowl halftime show. Everyone would be like, but no, and that's like even
He's
during
so
the Eras,
poetic though.
so poetic. And during the Eras tour, like for the Red set, I understand why she picked the songs that she did. However, there are so many better songs on Rep, and I love on Red, and I love the hits. I think they're so fun, and being there,
Yeah.
you forget about the other songs. Like it's so fun. The vibes are amazing. However, would I have picked 4 or 5 other songs? Absolutely.
Yeah, Red was my least favorite.
And if anything, I wanted her to perform Red. I love that song.
I know. It's like, and people know Red. Wasn't Red on the radio?
Was it ever a single? Let me see if it has a little star next to it.
I think it was. Oh my god, is that what that little star means?
Someone told me that if there's the little star, then it means it's been released as a single.
Oh, I thought it just meant that was the one people listened to the most. Or
Well,
maybe
because
maybe that is the same thing.
maybe, but a lot of my albums have like multiple.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, again, no, that makes sense. I didn't know what that. I
And
didn't know what
again,
the star meant.
that's just something that someone told me, and I've never fact checked it. You know what? Let's fact check it.
We love fact checking on this show.
What does the star mean next to a song on Apple Music?
Yeah. Spotify listeners.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
It's just, no, you were right. It's just one of the most popular tracks on the album.
Oh, okay.
And how do they determine?
Probably just plays.
Yeah, but then I feel like it should just be like 1 or 3.
Maybe they're all the same. I don't know. I don't know how they gauge these things.
I don't either.
Um,
Yeah, because like for 1989 Taylor's version deluxe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have little stars. Any whore.
Oh my god. Anyway, I think it's time to talk more about Taylor Swift because we had a major breakthrough last week at the Grammys, and we were so devastated that we weren't able to record an episode last week.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to be getting a brand new Taylor Swift album once again after we thought we were getting Reputation. But the Tortured Poets Department is coming out April 19th, which is so soon.
So soon.
So soon. The track list came out. Fucking money. I am already in love with this album. I
Yep.
haven't heard a single note.
You just took the exact words out of my mouth. I'm like, how did an album that I've never heard change my life?
I need to pull up the
It
track
is
list.
registered as a synth pop album. So my predictions, obviously without hearing a single second of the album, and I think she's going to do exactly what she did for Midnights. I don't think we're going to get a single. I think the album is just going to come out on April 19th. And I'm expecting kind of a darker Midnights. Like if
Ooh.
Folklore and Midnights came together and had produced a child, it would be the Tortured Poets Department. And also, I saw something about the name that I thought was really interesting. Are you ready for this?
Please
And I have no
share.
idea which is true, but we can theorize together. So
Okay.
when I see the Tortured Poets Department, I'm thinking like academics or like a group, like department, like all together. However, someone else explained that this version of department can also mean like departing.
Oh.
So it's like the tortured poets leaving.
Oh, see, I definitely thought the way you originally thought.
Right?
I
And I
think
don't know which one's true.
maybe that's the fun. Maybe that's the critical thinking that this woman has had me do in my late 20s now. That's disgusting to say. My late 20s, that I have to critically think like I was when I was 16 years old doing freaking state tests. Anyway, that's very interesting.
Right?
I definitely thought of it as like, yes, like an academic department, like,
Right.
but
And like she did list herself like as the chairman of the Tortured Poets Department. So I do think that she's leaning into that, but I'm wondering if there is this like subtle innuendo.
yeah, I love that though, because I love
Right?
that idea. I would love to start looking at a couple of these track lists though,
Yes.
because I hope Joe Alwyn has like some sort of earmuffs or something on, because this album is going to tear this man apart.
Yes.
Tortured Poets Department, in and of itself, is supposed to be a play on the group chat that he has, which was, what was it called? The
Tortured Man group or something.
Tortured Man group. It's definitely not that, but it's something like that.
Sam's like, that's absolutely incorrect.
But it's very like, that's definitely what it's kind of like. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, so like that was the group chat. My boy only breaks his favorite toys. Love that. So Long London.
It was the Tortured Man Club.
That, what did you say? Group?
Like they're in AA or something.
Well, at this point, he might need it.
Honestly. He might be in AA.
Have you seen recent photos of him? That man looks horrible.
Horrific. And also, before we continue on the set list, the fact that this man has said 0 words about the relationship, about their breakup, track list gets released, and his team puts out like an official message reminding everyone that he has not spoken. We're like, we don't give a fuck, Joe. I'm like, the fact that you felt the need to speak shows me that you are trembling.
Literally, I cannot believe that happened.
Right?
And just the fact that like back in July, before Speak Now was Taylor's version was released, like she was coming out here being like, please don't hurt John Mayer, like please. And we're just like, we literally don't care. Like these men deserve to be hurt, and they will be hurt. That's so funny.
Right.
I cannot wait to hear But Daddy I Love Him, because major Little Mermaid vibes. So I'm very interested.
And wait, here's a fun little tidbit. So I think it was literally like in hours before the official track list got released. I saw a TikTok. Did you see anything about this? Where like some random TikTok account said on January 26th. So the album didn't come out. I think it was February 3rd was the Grammys, or February 2nd. When was the Grammys? February 4th? right in that range.
Mhm.
So January 26th, this random account comments on a random TikTok about a girl speculating that Reputation is going to come out. And
Mhm.
this account, you haven't heard anything about this?
I don't know. No, please tell me.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
in the
All right.
dark.
So let me set the scene. Random girl. I don't know how many followers she has, but she's not a huge creator by any means. Post a video, like as all Swifties do, speculating that Reputation is coming out the night of the Grammys.
Okay. As
January
many
20th.
people
Yes,
did.
yes, as we all were clowning it, especially once she changed the profile pictures, but I
Mhm.
digress.
Mhm.
Then some random account, January 26th, comments, no, she's releasing a brand new album called The Tortured Poets Department. And so when it was announced, the girl went back to that video and was like, what the actual fuck? This was from January 26th. Who could possibly have known this? Then you went to the account. They leaked the entire set list before it came out, like the titles of, or set list, track list. And everyone was freaking out. And I am very like, I like the feeling of like the surprise. Like, I like when I like obviously the Easter eggs and like plotting, but I don't like actual spoilers. So I caught wind and I literally copied the link, sent it to Robbie because Robbie lives for spoilers. Like, if there's a leak, he'll listen to it. Like, he loves to be on things like first. Whereas me, I'm like, I will wait for the date. So I'm like, Robbie will eat this up. I send it to Robbie and I'm like, without spoiling anything, tell me what you think. And he literally said, he was like, Jordyn, there's no way this is real. And he gave me a spoiler. He was like, there's a song on here called But Daddy, I Love Him. Like, I just can't see Taylor releasing a song with that title. Like, it just like didn't sit right. And then literally an hour later, I got the Taylor notification because I have all her notifications on, and it was the track list with But Daddy, I Love, and it said Fortnite featuring Post Malone. Like, it had everything. Like, so two major leaks. So now everyone's speculating this is either someone from Taylor's team that completely betrayed her and is fired, or the name was like Crazy Girl or something. Like, the was like Crazy Girl. And everyone's like, is this fucking Taylor just like getting bored and like spilling all her own tea? Like, what the fuck? How absurd. How absurd.
That is the craziest thing I've heard.
Yep.
Like, Taylor wise, like, we've heard the clowning, we've gotten the updates or whatever, but like, that's insane.
A full leak. And literally, I sent it to Robbie, and Robbie looked at every single song on the track list, every single one. He also said, he was like, I don't think she'd have a song called The Tortured Poets Department. Like, it sounded too much like a formal name. Like, it's not like Red. Like,
Right.
he was like, this sounds like a collection. Like, that just, and he literally works in music, studies music. Like,
Yeah.
so for Robbie was thinking super analytically about it. And he was like, I think this is a bust. Like, feel free to look at it. So then after I looked at it, and I was like, oh my God, some of these would be sick though. Like, imagine a Taylor Swift Post Malone collab. And then literally, I was like,
wow.
What? Yeah. So I accidentally saw the full track list before I actually knew it was the track list.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's why I wonder if they released the track list because of that.
That's why, and that I got so sad because for Midnights, she did the whole thing. Like, with the, like, making it like an event, like leading up to
Yeah, I
date,
loved that with the phone
right?
and the upside down phone, and
Yes.
that was so cute.
Right. And there was so much fun in that. So I was like, I hope that didn't get taken from her, but yeah.
Damn.
Nuts, right?
Well, I'm excited to hear But Daddy, I Love Him. I feel like that's gonna be fire.
I am so excited. I'm also so excited for The Smallest Boy Who Ever Lived.
Smallest Boy Who Ever Lived. What was the other one? I'm looking at it. Oh, Fresh Out the Slammer.
I can't wait. Also, she has a song on there, the only one in all lowercase, that's Love of My Life.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm like, is that too obvious? Like, is LOML actually going to mean something else?
Very, yes. That, I mean, I always read that as Love of My Life. I think most people will, but it would be interesting if she changes it up or something. That'd be so good.
I'm also so excited because, as you know, I am a heavy Midnights girly.
Yes,
and for the first 6 months, I was like, okay, it's recency bias. Like, of course, this is going to be my favorite album. Then I hit a year, and it was still the only thing I could listen to. Now we're at like 2 years plus, and I am so fucking upset. There's something about the sound. Like Midnight's is my album, 100% in my top 3, like without a doubt. Like I'm obsessed with this album, and I'm so excited for this to come out and to see if I just like hop on the new albums and just like love them as they come out kind of thing, or if Midnight's is actually going to stay that high once I hear something new. So I will obviously keep you all updated.
As we do every week.
Yes.
No, I think that this is going to be really good. I think it's going to be like, we've been craving the darkness of Reputation, and I think that this is going to give it to us in a different way, obviously, but like kind of like feed that need, because we've been dying for Rep Vault tracks. Like we're like, somebody is getting fucked up on these Rep Vault tracks, like whatever it is. And I feel like I love the fact that people refer to them as ovulation songs, like the ones where she gets like super deep and like sexy, and like you're like, whoa, like I didn't even know that you could do that. And like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we're gonna get that vibe with this album. And oh my god, but that Grammys night, first of all, I was getting ready to go to sleep to catch my flight to Vegas the next day. Like I was literally on my way to Vegas that morning. I was waking up at like 5 a.m. and I was like, I don't even really want to watch the Grammys. But then I was like, I should. So I ended up watching it like just like on my phone. And I just like had it on in the background. And when I heard her, the possibility of her winning,
Album of the year.
No. The one that she announced it on. Was it Pop Song?
Pop vocal album of the year.
Yeah. So she won that for Midnights, and I heard that was coming up, and I was like, Michael, I have to see what's gonna happen, because if she wins and she gets up there in front of that microphone, she's gonna say some shit that we need to listen to.
Yeah.
And of course he was like, we? And I was like, yes, we need to listen to it.
We are.
So I'm sitting there and I'm literally like, I have my phone in my hand. I'm like this, like literally waiting for something to happen. And Michael's sitting there and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, shh, she's going to speak. And she says, and she was just like, and the whole 2 thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the freaking,
yes.
But she's like, I've been holding this in for 2 years. And she holds up the 2 fingers and everybody freaks out. And we're like, what does it mean? What does it mean? I was very annoyed with the clock, that it was set to midnight, and then she made sure it was set to midnight, but then nothing happened at midnight because I stayed up until midnight, even though I had to wake up in a couple of hours for a fucking flight, and nothing happened. Because I was like, what if she releases Reputation at midnight and like I've gone to sleep?
Yep.
I can't do that. But then she announced, she was like, I've been holding this back for 2 years, and I was like, oh my god. And then she said that she was releasing the new album, and I grabbed Michael and I was like, we're getting new Taylor Swift music. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I'm like freaking out. And then of course I texted you and I was like, Jordyn. And Jordyn sends me like this like selfie of her freaking out, because like I don't think any of us were expecting that at all.
No, me and Robbie literally went to our local New South Jersey diner that morning. Ordered way too much food and over pancakes and an omelet. We're like, what if it's TS11? And we like joked about it. And then we're like, nah, we're not even gonna get our hopes up for that. And then she announced it and I was like, what? So my whole life is made. And now I'm pissed that we didn't see it earlier. At least I didn't see it earlier. The pattern of her releasing an album. 2 re-recordings in a year. The next year, new album. 2 more re-recordings. Literally clockwork. The dominoes cascaded in a line.
Clockwork.
Like clockwork. New.
I hate it here. I can't do this anymore.
It's actually insane. So I cannot wait to hear this album. This is my dream as a little stoner girl, because what comes after the 19th? The fucking 20th. And you know what I'm going to do? I am going to garden my life away on April 20th.
You have a green thumb.
I'm going to have the greenest thumb, and I am not going to move, and I'm going to listen to this album and inject it into my veins and have the greatest day of my entire life. Also, it comes out on my sister's birthday, your father's birthday. So I could not be. Wait, because if the album's coming out on the 19th, that would be a Friday. That would make 4/20 a Saturday.
Oh boy.
I am going to have the greatest weekend of my life. April can't come soon enough.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at my calendar right now. But that's going to be just incredible. I'm so freaking excited. It's going to be a blast. And I can't wait to do a full-blown review like we have been doing. But for new music, like we've been doing re-records.
Yeah, this is our first time getting to react to a brand new album.
I mean, new Taylor Swift album. We've
yes.
Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter and like all them, but Taylor Swift, brand new album. Maybe we got to bring in somebody special to do something. Maybe a little guest action.
I think we may have to.
We'll have to chat. We'll have to chat about that. But my goodness, we have been chatting for a long time about two very different topics.
We had so much. Well, now they're kind of overlapped.
Yes, I would say for sure there was a seamless transition there.
Yes. But we did have a lot to catch up on, so it's fair.
We did. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today is I'm gonna try and move through reading a little bit quicker so we can have more book talk segments. Okay. But we are going to have a book talk today because I finally finished A Court of Thorns and Roses. And
also, I just want to give the spoiler alert now.
Oh, yes.
If you are not done A Court of Thorns and Roses, if you are interested in reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, we love you. Log off now because I don't want to spoil this for anyone. This is for people who have read it and want to relinquish in our reviews of A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Exactly. And I am ready to just break down this whole book because I finished it on the plane on the way home. It took me about 6 weeks to get through this book because I was struggling a lot at the beginning. And I was told by you, I was told by Kat, I was told by several people that the book would be slow. And I was like, okay, whatever, I can make it through. The book started, I was like, okay, then some interesting things happened, and then we were in this whole fairy world and I was like, okay, I'm getting the vibe. And then it just fell off for me. And I was like, it just kept going on. And she was in the room and she was painting and trying to learn how to read. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't care. I had also just come off of a very steamy book. So I was waiting for the steam and I wasn't getting it. And I was like, okay. And I kept battling through it. Page friggin' 250 was when I got into it. So if you guys are still listening and haven't read this book yet, that just so you know, that's where we're at.
Yes. And also, and this is in no way a spoiler for you, but just like the series as a whole, I'm on the last book. I have, I think, 120 pages left of the last book, and then I'm done. I'm going to try and finish it tonight, honestly, because it's that good. Okay. And I want to say that this series, it does start slow, but this is the first series I've ever read that I feel like, you know how a lot of them, there's one book and it ends, and then you're like trying to force more events to happen. This is one of the first series where like the books actually like move this way. Like throughout the whole thing. So just know that 100% the first book was the slowest, but you are in for like a journey.
That is what everyone's told me.
Yes.
And I'm very, very excited about it now because I am about maybe 50 pages into the book.
That was my favorite one.
This one is a lot. You've told me that. Kat's told me it's her favorite one. I'm ready to read this one. Again, I just started it, so I'm only a couple pages in, but I'm already more interested in this book 50 pages in than I was with A Court of Thorns and Roses. So the ending was where I was like, finally, shit is going down, and I'm so happy about it. And I loved like that there was finally like an evil person, Amarantha. Like, she was there and she was the fucking evil queen, whatever. And I was like, I wish they had just mentioned her a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And like I could build up to meeting her because they literally she comes back, right, from being with her family, like, he sends her off.
Yep.
Tamlin, who I call Tampon because I don't like him, which apparently people keep finding very interesting that I don't like him. I have no feelings for Tamlin. And I
I
even
need you to
texted
finish a court of Fist and Fury so bad.
when I told Jordyn that, she was just like, "Oh, it's so interesting that you're feeling this way." And then I texted Kat the same thing, and she was like, "Oh, it's so interesting that you're feeling this way." And I was like, "Okay." Because I don't feel what she's feeling. Also, I've been calling her Fair. How do you pronounce her
I
name?
call it Feyre.
Feyre.
Feyre. I don't know if
Okay.
that's right.
Okay, because in my brain it's fair, and I don't know if that's right or not. I should
I
probably
don't
look at the
know. And
pronunciation.
for a while, I was just calling her Fire. Like in the first book, I was like, I don't know what the fuck these names are. So I was calling her Fire. And then I think eventually someone in one of the books like enunciates it and it looked like they had like a hyphen and it looked like Feyre. So I was like, ooh, so like I say Feyre.
How to pronounce? Let's see. How do you pronounce?
How do you
Uh,
pronounce Reese? Are you Reesend?
no, Rysand.
Rysend?
Yeah,
I think no, I think
but
I am too.
but I say Rysand, and then when I see his name shortened, I say
Reese.
Reese.
I'm the same way.
So I don't know, but so anyway, when we get to Amarantha and like Under the Mountain and that whole thing, I was like, "Oh yes, this is what I've been waiting for." And I am in love with Rysand. Like, I adore that man. I think he's a piece of shit, and I love it. Like,
Mhm.
the second he showed up during the Fire Night, I think it's called, when he was like first introduced.
Yes, the ritual night.
And we like don't really know who he is, but he like saves her. I was like, "Ooh, a dark, mysterious figure. I like him." And then he
And the way
disappears
she
for a while.
describes him, like he was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. I can picture it. Who do you picture as an actor? Who do you picture as Reese?
Hmm.
Because the person that I have in my head, everyone tells me is wrong.
Who are you picturing?
I picture Finnick Odair from the Hunger Games, but with
Oh,
black hair.
I don't picture that
That's
at
who I
all.
just like the way Reese talks. That's who I picture.
I just need to look
But
up more.
everyone tells me that's wrong. And now, ever since everyone told me no, he's supposed to be like a lot more dark and brooding, I've been picturing Damon Salvatore.
Okay, I think that would probably be closer.
Mm.
I picture, yes, like a very like dark-haired. I don't think I picture an actor per se, but like
Yeah.
very fair, almost like vampire-y, but with
Mhm.
like a gorgeous head of just like dark hair and like just a very slender, very tall.
Mhm.
I feel like I'd have to look through like a list
Yeah.
of um actors to like get a vibe. But in my brain, I see Tamlin as this very big, muscular, like not that he isn't an attractive character because he
Mhm.
doesn't do anything wrong per se, but he's got like, you know, like the high fae vibe and like
Mhm.
he wants her to be a certain way and like and I'm like, "Ugh, I don't like," and then he's like, "I have to protect you," and I'm like, "She's fine. She's fine. Like she can handle her." I don't like their relationship, and
Mhm.
so far in the beginning of this book, I don't like their relationship either. So, and again, when Rysand shows up and he's just like, being all brooding and mysterious, and then he
Mhm.
tells her like, "You have to stay with me a week every month." I'm like, "Oh, okay, like,
I
sure."
I am a very, as you could assume because you know my taste in men, also team Reese.
Yes, I would understand that, and
Yes.
I'm on the same vibe. I love Lucian. I think that he is a great,
See,
like,
I
second.
say Lucin. Is that wrong? Luchin?
I say Lucin.
That's what's
Would I
so
say
hard
Lucian?
about all these names.
It looks like Lucius in Harry Potter, which is why I think I say Lucian.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I could be wrong. But I can picture him very vividly in my brain.
I should send these to you. When I first started reading, I connected with like this girl that I used to work with like years ago. She was like, this is my favorite book series. Like, I want you to keep me updated the whole time. And it just got us like totally reconnected. Like now we Instagram DM all the time.
So
and
fun.
It's been so fun. But she has like, she was like, do not Google anything. Like, do not search what anyone looks like. And I was like, I wouldn't. But she sent me pictures of what, like drawings of what people have like expected them to look like. Here, I should show a couple.
Yeah, sure, because I'm so interested because I can picture Lucian pretty vividly in my brain. I think he's one of the most vivid characters. I can barely see fair in my brain. Like she's just very average in my brain, which I think is how she's supposed to be. Like she isn't this stunning beauty. Like she's a pretty woman, but I don't visualize her as like a stunning human being.
I agree.
High fae now.
Wait. Oh, Taylor Nation posted 4 hours ago and just sent me into a downward spiral, but you have already liked it.
I've already liked it? What
was
it?
It was like the lucky number 13.
Oh.
Like soon we'll be able to add.
I was trying to figure that out, and I was like, I don't have the mental capacity to do this right now.
No, literally. My Wi-Fi has been so weird all day. Did I cut out on the show at all?
No, not at all. Not on my end.
Also, I have a video of me that I need to text you reacting to the last like 50 pages of Mist and Fury. And I'm reading it at Brian's house. Yes, I'm reading it at Brian's house. And his brother comes in and he's like, no spoilers, just like me, like, and his brother comes in and he's like, Jordyn, do you want a shot of Fireball? And I'm like, and he's like, oh my God, she's reading. And you hear him and Brian both like drop to the floor because like, she's got a crazy part. Like,
should I do that? Should I record myself reading the last like 50 pages?
Yes, of every book. Because honestly, like the series picks up with every book, but Sarah J. Maas, like the way she does it, it's literally the same way as A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's all like tease, and then everything happens in the last couple hundred pages.
Okay.
So, and every book is like that.
I did say like right before, so the trials happen. She fights the worm. She can't read. I think honestly, I think that's really funny. I don't think it should be, but I think it's hilarious that they were just like, this is supposed to be some like very insane like riddle she's supposed to be solving, and she was like, I can't read.
Yeah.
Like, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, can't believe this. We don't even get to know what the freaking riddle was because you can't read. But then the last one, obviously, as we were sitting there, I was like, that's when I think I texted, or no, it was probably a little bit before that, but that's when I texted you, and I was like, something in the text message said something along the lines of like, if Tamlin dies, I don't care. And I was like, I wonder if he's gonna. Like, I wonder if they're gonna kill him. And then I was like, can he die? And then that's when the third trial comes around, and she kills the two Fae, and then the last one is Tamlin, and I was like, oh, do it fair. Kill him. And then she does it, and I'm like, this motherfucker can't die. That's so lame.
I know.
And I was like, I really thought he was going to die there. Yes. I would say that that's fair. I always picture her with a long braid.
Yeah.
Do they say that at some point?
I feel like, yeah, because I thought the same thing. Like when I saw her, I was like, that makes perfect sense. This is supposed to be Tamlin. Yeah. With the mask.
The hair, exactly how I pictured him. Yep. With the sharp jawline, for sure.
And then I have Lucian with his eye.
Yeah, that's pretty close for me as well. I picture him with a little bit more curly and like wildy hair.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely like the fire red hair, the sharp features.
Those are the only three I have.
Okay. Well, I feel like I don't even want to see a picture of Rysand because the picture I have of him in my brain is just fine.
Yeah.
If I could put it onto the screen, I would. But
you know, I've been thoroughly, I know it might be wrong, but like when I'm reading a book like that, like I want to picture, like I like picturing my own people because then I get more attached. So I'm perfectly fine picturing Reese as Finnick Odair.
As you should, you know, it's your reading imagination, you know.
My world. I saw a TikTok the other day that was so real, and it was like what my boyfriend sees when I'm reading, and it was like this woman like in like a oversized snuggie with like a blanket under her head in like the book, and it was like what I'm seeing, and it was all the fantasy worlds and all the shit, and I was like, yes,
Yeah, no, she does a great job building up the world. Like, I do feel like going into the second book, I feel very prepared for her to just jump into the story.
Yep.
Like, even if I had to like wait for this book to come out and then I read it like months or years later, like I feel like I could just jump right into it and I don't have to worry about remembering what happens in the previous book to know what's going on in this book.
Yes.
She does a very good job with that. She's a good writer.
I cannot wait until you are done the series altogether and I can actually tell you all of my thoughts and feelings, because I don't want to I don't even want to tell you my thoughts on anything. So I went in with zero spoilers, zero direction, other than what people told me about like the pace of the books. Like, do not give up. The ends always get really exciting. Like, that's literally all I knew. And that was very true.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the storyline could not have predicted anything. It's just phenomenal.
Do you remember how you felt after finishing the first book?
Yes.
How did you feel after finishing the first book?
I was where you are at but I still because early on, like when her and Tamlin were initially falling in love, I ate it up. I loved him. And then Reese got introduced and I was like, I feel like I shouldn't love him, but of course I'm going to be drawn to the villain.
Right.
You know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always like, Reese, but then at the end with like the unveiling of Tamlin and like just her emotion for Tamlin, I was like, and then like the book ended and I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah, I even when they were like falling in love and like I felt happy for her. I was like, good for you. Like, I'm glad that the man who kidnapped you from your family you're in love with him. That's so cool of you. But I did think that they focused really hard on this idea of like Beauty and the Beast, and like that's the vibes I was getting at least. And I'm like, I felt a little forced to like him, and I think that's what made me push back, that I was like, but I don't like him. And so the fact that they kept telling me to like him, I was like, no, I don't want to like him. I don't think that he's a good fit for her. So that's when, and then when Reese came in towards the end of the book, I was just like eating it up. I was like, yes, kill him, be with Rysand, like, please. And then I'm still very hung up on the fact, though, like there weren't a lot of cliffhangers towards the end of the book, but the idea that when they like had their last meeting, like right before she leaves the mountain or whatever, he like looks at her crazy and then like flies away, and I'm like, what did that mean? I was like, what? And I'm like kind of like still thinking about it, and I'm like waiting. That's why I really just want to like sit down and read and like just really get through this book. And I am going to Barnes & Noble on Saturday with Kat to buy the third book so that I have it in my possession, because she told me I'm going to fly through this book.
You're going to fly through it, and then you should honestly just buy the last three, like there.
I'm so poor.
I know. The Frost and Starlight one, has she told you anything about that one?
That's like the one about Nesta.
3.5.
Is it the one about Nesta?
It's where you learn the most about Nesta, but it's just this like not the most. It's like introducing, really getting you to know Nesta. Okay. And it's like 200 pages, but it's very just like you could literally sit down and read that in one setting. Like I read it once I actually sat down, I read it in like 2 nights. Oh, okay. Because I think it's like 230 pages, and it's just like sweet. It's very like Christmassy and nice. Oh. So that one is just like adorable.
Okay.
And I mean, there's drama, but it's.
I mean, compare the thickness
it's
of
not
that
like a book like the other ones.
Is like, this is thick.
Oh my God. Even when I was holding it, I was like, I feel like this is like a child's book. Cause like.
I feel ya. Like you pick up like a regular size book and you're like, oh, this is so tiny. And then you pick up this book and you're like.
That's what I told you about what Brian told me about pages instead of books, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, when I'm reading this series, he's like, see, he was like, this should count as 2 books because it's fucking almost 800 pages, the last one. I think that one was like 600 something.
This one is, oh, I don't want to read too far.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, 626.
Okay. Don't look at anything.
The only thing I saw was that the last couple pages are changed narrators. Which
that doesn't do anything.
But I just saw that it was like half was Ryzen, half was Bear, and that makes me really excited that we're gonna get Ryzen's freaking point of view. Oh, I can't wait for him to fall in love with her.
I am saying absolutely nothing.
Well, obviously, we know he's already in love with her because he was like all up in her business. But yes, overall, very good towards the end. I was very happy that I battled through it and got to the end of the book because it was, I couldn't put it down once I got to the mountain.
And now you are going to cruise, and we will keep you updated throughout all of Sam's journeys. I also plan this year on reading her other 2 series. I don't know if I'm actually going to get through all of them. I know the one series is Crescent City. I'm pretty sure there's 3 books out for that. Okay. And then the other one, though, is the Throne of Glass series. And I think there's like 8 books there. So after I finish this book, I'm going to take a break and read a couple just like individual ones. I'm reading the one you recommended. None of this is true.
I haven't even read that yet because I've been deep into these.
No. So I'm going to read that. I'm reading one after this called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
I'm also reading Percy Jackson still. So
of course.
Yes.
Then I'm going to read, none of this is true. And then I have a couple other ones lined up, and then I'm going to get back into my fantasy world. But if you are interested in keeping up with me and Sam's reading journey, make sure to subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. If you're not already following us on social media, make sure to check us out at the Unsolicited_podcast for TikTok, Instagram, Threads. Find us on Twitter at Sam and Jordyn. And then obviously find us on audio wherever you get your podcasting platforms. Sam, it was so good to get back into the routine with you.
I'm just so happy to be back. I'm happy to get back into the mix of everything. And hopefully I battle through these books quickly so we could have this be semi-weekly if possible.
Yes. Be better with the books than I am with TV shows and movies.
We're still waiting for so many things from Jordyn.
So many.
I don't even think you've watched Quarterback yet. And
no.
The season 2 is going to come out over the summer, and it's going to be so funny.
Yep, and I never watched the first one. I'm too busy reading all the time.
You know what? That's good. I'd rather you be reading than watching TV.
Thank you. There's just not enough time for both. All right, we extended this way too long already. We love you guys.
We love you
guys. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.